Hey guys and gals, hello, 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 welcome. Appreciate you stopping by, intrigued, and checking out the content. That is so great of you. Turn it up. Now, I do apologize, I'm kind of functioning a little slow, guys. It's because I'm focused on. Had a recent follower on Twitch, and for some reason, the notification isn't really so. I guess that's when you stop, or when you don't use your streaming software for a while or a minute. It kind of things get deactivated and such. I know I have my chatbot running, but the notifications, anyways, I'm thinking about that and trying to figure out how I could quickly fix that, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Now, I do want to give quick shout outs to, and I'll just paste it into chat. Let's go. There's the chat bot finally working a little bit. Sometimes you have to spam the chat in order to kind of wake it up. So I guess me, myself, and I, bad mod. Multitasking, so many things. All right, and there we go. So quick shout outs to Dude's Cousin and Fella Best. I appreciate you for the follow here on Twitch. Let's go. Now, for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you missed the live stream. Where were you? Just jokes, but it is great to have you here watching in also YouTube land. Turn it up. All right. Let's get back on track and refocused. Shall we play with Visual Studio again and Winforms? Yes, we shall. Okay. Now again, I'm just kind of putting this all together and just kind of throwing it all out at you. I really don't have a plan, or I'm somewhat organized. I kind of have an idea what I want to do and want to share with you, but we're slowly building an application kind of like little bit by little bit. Okay? Now, another quick mention, I noticed on the first stream, as soon as I changed the font size, should move this a little bit so I can see it there. Click the little three dots. You can change the font size here as well. You get a nice form pop-up. Dialog box, if you will. Pretty simple, easy. We could actually build something like this. We could. A little bit more code behind going on, obviously, but we could pretty much do the layout if we wanted to. All right. So essentially, this is Winforms. So anything you guys and gals see, like for pop-ups and such in Windows, this is basically it right here. All right. So as soon as you change the size, I do a lot of copying and pasting. The organization or the pattern of things that you type in a box or a text box, it's always the same. Okay? As soon as I did that, it changed the size of the box automatically. So do be aware of that. Like, it started out smaller. Of course, naturally, I made it a little bit larger than what it, you're not going to see everything. So when you make it larger, guys, just take note. You're going to have these slider bars or scroll bars. It's something else that you can actually add in to your project. You can have these as well. So where was I? Yeah, so you can, obviously you're gonna have to do that. We will be doing that a little bit. And we change the size, and of course it's large enough for 9.75 font. Okay. Also, something else you can do with your form is you can change it to, now where is that again? We didn't do that the other day, but we can talk about it briefly now. Let's see. I don't know why I'm not seeing it now. Sizable. There it is. It's kind of hiding right there. That's what I'm looking for. Form border style. Okay? Sizable. You can have these different options. Fixed single essentially means you can't size it. Normally, something that we're doing, it's either going to be fixed single or sizable. Now, you do have to take note, any objects that you add into your Winform or your form, you're going to have to anchor them. Okay? So that's key. So when something is sizable or being expanded, like maximized, it's going to move your objects in your form around, right? Now, if they're anchored in a different weird spot, that's where it's going to be. So you kind of have to tell the program, where do you want your object? And again, this could be called an object. It's a container. Objects are containers. This form is an object. It's a container. I know it's kind of a little bit, guys and gals, but if you're learning C# or coding in general, you'll know essentially what I mean. Okay, that's the great thing about objects. They can hold and handle a lot more information, kind of like arrays and lists and such. Okay, so now let me show you. We'll just run this, and we have it on sizable, right? So as you can see, I could hover over my edges of my form and I could resize it. Okay, that's what sizable is. Okay, now if I change it to fixed, it's going to take a little bit of playing around with, especially with your anchors, to figure it out. Okay, so fixed single. All right, I made a change. Myself habits is myself. I usually build it before I run it. And here we go. So now if I hover, I don't have that double arrow for resizing. I can't resize now. So this is a fixed size, unchanged. I can expand it or maximize. I can still do that. These are important to have, your minimize and maximizes, and your close button. These are key right now because we wouldn't be able to close this without this right now. So the developers were nice enough to make sure that we have at least the close button, because this is a running application right now, guys and gals. It's actually something. It's running. It's using resources right now on my computer, in fact. So you have to be able to close and end an application, right? Okay, yes, let's go. I know this is so exciting. I'm trying to make it interesting. I really am. But I mean, we're creating and making an application here. Okay. What shall we do next? Okay, I'm just kind of... So, let's just recap. We've done our watercolor controls. We created those. Hopefully you've seen that last video. Native methods, just an extra thing I did, showing you guys, you know, it's not necessary, but it's there. Showing you how to create your own classes and such. There's a lot of information out there. Maybe there's a specific thing that you want your program to do. There may be something somewhere on the internet that'll help you with that. I'm here to help as well. That's the goal. Okay, creating your own buttons, your own flat buttons, interactive control, label styles, picture box. Now there is one more. And as a matter of fact, I know I promised, let's see, I have to close this application. I'm going to close this one, and then I'm going to see if I can find something else that's going to help. Did this project have it? I have to look for another one, just for copy and paste reasons. It's not in this one. And I'm just going to remove that. Well, maybe this one might have it. Different projects I got going on. There we go. I got it. I found it. Okay, so let's do another one. We'll do one more. Combo box. Okay, we may or may not need it. Again, sharing is caring, guys. Remember that. Sharing is caring. I'm not asking you for money. Help me out with YouTube. Or even on Twitch, as a matter of fact. Okay, so static, we're going to do new item, class. We're going to create a combo box. Custom, our own custom combo box style. All right, there's a lot of code here. Again, it's a video in itself just to type up this code. Easily an hour. Yeah, okay. Make sure I'm in between both curly brackets. Keep your namespace and paste. All right, especially if you're copying and pasting this from GitHub, make sure you don't lose your namespace. Okay, it's key. You need it. All right, there we go. There's all our information. Again, this is my code. I typed, I created, and not capping. Okay. And I'll scroll through here just so you can kind of see it. I like creating the categories as part of my organization. It's nice to have that within your properties. Again, some of the code, guys and gals, you'll know what the code is if you're learning C#. Okay? These are essentially properties or attributes of each button, of each label, the user control. My own custom combo box. Okay, I'm just kind of scrolling through. All right, there we have it. Save it and close. There we go. You can see it here. I put it as part of static controls, guys. All right, let's go. Boy, like usual, when I talk a lot, I get parched and I just drink my tea way too fast. I know that wasn't really funny, but it's a sad face for me. Okay, where shall we go now? Oh, I gotta close this one. Let's go back to the project I was working on. or getting my information out of. I believe it was this one. Yes. Okay. Oh, I opened that. I'm going to close that. I don't know why that was open. Weird. That's okay. What? Okay. Just want to check something here quickly. Yes. Okay. Okay. We're all right. And the only thing is that's open. All right. Going to code. I'm just kind of recapping here again. I'm kind of working out of a program I've already created just to simplify things and make things a little bit quicker by copying and pasting back and forth. All right, I think we're okay with this. Hopefully you guys understand what this does. Okay, this is again just a list of different various colors that you can use for each of your objects that are in your Winforms project. Okay, and it's in the background there being utilized. Okay, let's start designing. All right, let's do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's drag it, not drag and drop, but I'm going to create a, yeah, we are dragging and dropping. I'm going to create my own label style. Okay, check it out. Let me show you kind of the difference. Okay, so here, let's see if I can find it. These are the common, okay, a common label. Okay, that's what it looks like, right? Again, anything that you drag and drop in, you have to click it in order to access the information out of the properties window. Okay, here I could change the name. Now the name here, here's the key. The name is kind of part of the chaining that I was talking about earlier. You need the name to access like methods or whatever else, right? Information, code behind, okay, and all those sort of things. You'll see that more when we start writing code, okay? You'll understand. Other things we could do, we can change the font size. Of course, there's a lot more information here. Auto size, which it'll do. We could add a border, but I've already kind of created my own custom, so you'll see. Again, you can adjust the locations just by changing these values, right? So I'll give you some tips on that. So let's say I want it in a different location. There we go. The size is essentially going to adjust based on the how many characters you've typed. Okay, so if I type label 1, for example, now this is just random text, not necessary, but you can see it auto sizes. Okay, its size changes, so you don't really need to change that. Tab index is another one of those things. I honestly don't know why it would be in there. There must be some reason. Maybe it's part of the code behind that every object is going to have that. In this case, there's no way to disable it, so myself, I just make it 0. Okay, that's essentially what I do. And again, you can do other things such as locking it. You can lock it in a specific position. You can change its location. You can change its font. You can change its background color. You can anchor it, whether it be top left or bottom left. Those sort of things. That's all part of the expanding, minimizing, and maximizing, or whether your form is sizable and all those sort of things. Okay, you understand? All right. Now, what else? Well, yeah, and text alignment as well. So you can align it being top. This is kind of the box or the container it's in. So you can align it within that container. You can make it also not visible, right? In that case, what it means is that you'll see it here, obviously, right? Because you need to, unlike this other one over here, which is kind of invisible. But I know it's there, so I can find it easily by just kind of back. It's a highlighting thing you can do with your cursor, right? Forward or backwards, highlighting. Now, if I run it, it should be not visible. Hopefully, that's the case. And there we go. That was a little bit of a delay. All right, cool. So that's a generic label, all right? I just highlighted it and hit delete. That's all I did. Now I'm going to drag and drop my own custom. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? But I could do more, guys and gals. I could do more. I'm going to change the font. Let's start there. Let me show you things that you could do to it. So these are the basic attributes of my label. Standard font size. It looks like it's bold right now. It's Microsoft Sans Serif. That's my generic information for my label. Okay? Other attributes and such that I got going on. Now, we have to name our labels. It's very important. Okay? Maybe that's one of the first things we should do. Okay? This is kind of, there's no set means or no set way. You can type whatever name you want to use for your labels. Not just labels, buttons, pull downs, combo boxes, text boxes, all those sort of things. You can create your own. Let me show you what I mean. So I always start with LBL and then I use an underscore. This is kind of the way I do it. There are different ways of doing it. There's no right way or no wrong way. Some companies may have a standard and such. You could create your own standard. Okay? Now the hardest thing about kind of doing this stuff, and it's just like coding, the most challenging thing with coding is coming up with variable names, just something unique. Like the coding is kind of one of those things that is kind of gets easier over time, and the more code you grind, the better you get, right? But the hardest, most challenging thing is just coming up with some kind of generic fitting name for your variable or and such. Okay, so usually what I do is I go whatever the program is. So this is called Drop It Sauce Dr. Savio. It's a little lengthy, so I want to try to make it unique. Okay, so it's part of this program. Now again, if I copy and paste code from my WordPad, you're going to have kind of conflictions, right? So it's key that you name your labels a certain specific way. Now, I'm not saying it's hard or difficult. It's important that it matches, right, with your code behind. What do I mean by code behind? I'm just going to write something here, just generic for now, because I can change it anytime. Your code behind is this, okay? Because we're going to actually use that name from here, right? So I do a lot of highlighting, copying, Control C, and then I'll paste it, right? So let's say I need the name here, right? And this is where you use the dot separator. It creates access. Okay, and as you can see, we have a pull down list of different methods, or what else? What other terms are not just methods, but what are the wrenches again? That's a method. Wrenches are, for some reason I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but it's like a property of sorts, right? As you can see, I could change The program's kind of it's making a recommendation based on what I have highlighted. Okay, maybe that's what I want. The program doesn't know, but it's trying to help you. Okay. Border style could be none, right? I could disable the border style. Let's say maybe I want no border style on it, right? Can focus, that's part of your mouse controls. Click. So there's a lot of different information, okay, that we can access. That's what the dot separator is. Again, you have to create an object. I mean, it still is an object. I'm just thinking of coding. This kind of could break some people's brains a little bit, right? You could think of this as an object. You can. Obviously, it's a variable. It's a label name, but objects can access information, right? So the name of the object, dot separator, can access objects and such. Okay, that's kind of I'm just gonna kind of keep it at that without trying not to over explain. All right, okay, so I want to name it something. It's gonna be like a title name. Okay, it's a title name. So usually I'll write I'm just trying to help you with, figuring out the name of your labels, because you're going to be creating names for a lot of the things that you drag and drop into your form or your Winforms project. Okay, this is all part of it. It's just naturally you're going to have to do that, right? It's kind of like getting a dog. You're going to have to give it a name. All right. Okay, back to here. So I'm gonna just call it drop and sauce, just to keep it short. Okay, so I'll use the project name. Sometimes my project names are a little shorter. In this example, the program is called drop and sauce. Not that it means anything, but that's what I do. Okay, I put in the project name and then I type title, and then it could be, I don't know, maybe there's a specific number associated with it. I don't know, maybe let's say it was program version 2 or something to that effect. Let's say hypothetically this was version 2, so I'll put a 2 at the end. Okay, there we go. We've given our label a name. What else can we do? We can make it transparent. Okay, we can actually type it, so I'll just highlight all that. Again, in the properties, we can't really specifically, let me just go here quickly. We can't specifically copy and paste this name into the properties window. It just doesn't work that way. It's the way the way it's written. To create the properties window, we have to enter the RGB values, okay? But that's fine, it's okay. We can all handle writing numbers, right? Okay, so clicking my label, make sure I'm highlighting it still. I'll just go like this, and I'm going to type transparent and hit enter. As a matter of fact, it should auto change the next one below. Okay, this is an additional, because this is a custom label, it's going to have this extra information. Okay, it's not all of this information here is going to be the same as a generic label. Okay, just to give you a heads up. I could change the border radius. Now I have specific things that I could change with my label because it's custom. Okay. Border style, fix single, good enough. My font, right? Let's do that. Now I could change my font here. I want to, like I mentioned earlier, I was going to use Papyrus, and it's right here in the pull down list. I want size 22. and I want it to be bold. Clicking OK. So now I automatically get papyrus 21.75. That's the accurate value or height of our font. And it's going to equal style equals to bold. It's all separated by comma separators. You can actually, so if I go like this, Control C, I'll just show you something. I just did an undo. Okay, I click back here in the form and I hit Control Z. It's a quick way of doing it, or you can just hit these forward and back arrows. Undo, redo, undo, redo. All right. Now I could actually, let's say I saved all these font styles and sizes in a Word document or such, and I just want to, we could easily go here and click things and do all that. We can, or we could go like this, just highlight that, go Control V, click the form, and it should automatically change. Of course, I didn't do that. Oh, I clicked the other one. Aha, let's do that. Now I'm really messing up the program because I undid the font and I messed it up. As soon as you change the font, it changes the size of your, so I'm gonna go like this. I didn't want it to be papyrus. I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna change it back because I copied and pasted it into the wrong one. So I did a redo so that my form size got fixed. I'm gonna click my form. That's why you gotta make sure that you have the right thing clicked. Okay, I accidentally changed the font on it, and I didn't want that. Okay, and it went back to 9.75. That's fine. So if it wants to be that way, that's okay. What did we have? 1200 by something something? 1200 by 800, if I recall. We'll just force it back. It's easy to fix, guys. Went 1280 to, so I'm gonna go like this and just change the size back to the way it was. So that's a good example for you guys and gals. All right, be aware of which object you have clicked. Okay, so you have to do a lot of clicking. You'll see a top left like square, that lets you know that it's highlighted. Okay, and here we go. There we go. Okay, finally, it's about time. Sheesh. If I recall, that was the size, guys. Do you remember? I think that's what we used, 1200 by 800. Let's just build it, run it, and there we go. Okay, I'm gonna change the background to a lighter background, again to what it was before. I did that so that you can actually see the changes whenever you're changing code here in the form. Okay, inside this is the code behind. So I'm gonna go like that, and I'm gonna put it back to light color, and I can run it from here, from this side. It'll still work. Okay, it's kind of a light bluish, sky bluish type color. All right, so far so good. Now I want it in a specific position. Okay, so I'm gonna change it to, I want it to be to the left more. Remember, this has an area, right? So I believe this top left corner is 0, 0. So let's find out. Okay, location right now is 8849. Let's see what happens when I go 0, 0. Okay, where does it go? Right into the top left corner. You see that? Okay, but I don't want it in the top left corner. I like to have a little bit of space from the edges of my, so if I run it, you'll see it's exactly there. It's right in the corner. And also the border of my label is there as well. Okay, so my specific, I gotta make sure I click it. And I want it to be at 32, 32. That's where I want it. And I also want to lock it because I don't want to move it around accidentally. So now I can't drag and move it around because I locked it. It's locked to, again, the form is a container, and this is an object inside the container. It's no different than having a cardboard box and you're throwing a baseball inside of it. The baseball is an object and the cardboard box is a container. Okay? Look at it kind of like that. Alright, I'm going to try to speed things up here. Again, time flies when you're having fun. And I'm trying to explain and share with you a lot of different things. Let's see if we can do this real quick. We're going to kind of go, we're slowly going to build this up. We're going to do a lot of different things. Okay? Now, am I done with my label? Yeah, not quite. We need a name for it, right? Obviously, you don't want your program to be called label styles. Okay, so down here at the bottom, so up top is, this is our object name. Okay, it's what we're going to use in the code behind. This name here is our object name, and we're going to use it in the code behind. Okay, down here, so make sure I click it. I can see that it's kind of like a lock symbol, and it tells me that it's locked, and it also lets me know that it's highlighted or that I have it selected. Okay, so down here you scroll down, you can see text. This is where you change the name of it. So of course you're going to want to use, this is the title of our program, right? Now I'm just giving you guys and gals examples. There is no set. This isn't exactly the way you would do something. Again, if you're going to create something, have your own vision. Have your own vision of colors and styles and your layout. You following? You feel me? All right, you go with your vision. Let's go. I'm giving you guys and gals the foundation and the support. Okay? Okay, there you go. Let's go. Anything else we want to do to that? That's just a label. Again, we could do things such as size. Again, size is automatic. Depends on how many characters you type. Okay, so it'll automatically adjust. We don't want it to tab to anything. At least that's what I think in my mind. That's what it means. I always just put it to 0. And that's essentially the properties I want. Fixed single, I don't want to be able to adjust it. Change my font. I'm going with the same attributes of my custom label. That's all part of the code behind, guys. Okay, so if I go to my custom label here, right, I already have properties and attributes set. Okay, but I can also in turn change them inside here as well. Okay, I have that option. Let's say I want it to be a different color or something a little bit different to the other font styles, right? Alignment can be middle left, it's fine. Whatever you decide. Visible is true, and there we go. All right, let's leave it at that. So let's do another one. So I'm gonna drag and drop. This is gonna be cool. I'm gonna show you some cool stuff now. Let's drag and drop just a generic label, okay? A default label, if you will. All right? I'm calling this label. I always, again, I go LBL. That's just my standard. Again, you can create your own standard. I'm calling it time. All right, size 12. Microsoft Sans Serif, size 12. And what else? Location. I want it in a specific location. Now it's based on the area of your form, right? Remember, this corner is 0, 0. So it's kind of like a starting point. Think of a grid, right? Maybe you know, the values you put in the here are solely and entirely up to you. Again, I could position it anywhere just by simply moving it and dragging it. Maybe I want it here. And the nice thing about the program is you can see they have that line bar. You can see it. It knows that you're aligned with the top now. Or maybe you want it aligned with the bottom. Or kind of aligned with the bottom of the text. That's the cool thing about the program. Okay? And redo. There we go. Okay, I'm going to lock my label as well. You get these pull downs, right? That's the nice thing about the properties window. You get a drop down list. Okay, we can actually create these as well in our own program. Okay, what else? What other properties and attributes can we change? Locked is true. Size is, let's see the size. And then let's change the text, right? We don't want it to say label 1. We want it to say something else, okay? I'm going to type time, okay? And it's going to have a tab index of 0 as well. For myself, I don't know. It's just the way I do it. I don't want any conflictions and weirdness going on when I run my program. Size, I'm just going to leave it. Again, size is one of those things that adjusts automatically. Visible is going to be true. There's not many properties or attributes that we change for the most part, okay? Now, let's do something cool. Let's do some code behind. Check this out. So what we need is, let's see. First, we should probably do a timer. Let's do that. I'll show you how to add a timer. Okay, so it's simple. So go to your list, common. Somewhere in here you're gonna find timer. We'll just look through the whole thing, right? So I'm in all Windows forms. This is everything that you can utilize. Inside is one called timer. I'm gonna drag and drop it. It puts it automatically below your form. Okay, it's not on your form, it's not inside the container of your form, but it's associated, it's still there, but it's just below your form. Okay, it's not something that we're going to display to the GUI or the graphic user interface. Okay, that's what this is. When I run the program, that's what you're seeing, the GUI. All right, so I'm going to change the name of this. I'm going to call it timer anime. I'm going to enable it as true. Interval is 1,000. That's milliseconds. Okay, guys and gals? Milliseconds. The other thing we need to do is we need to click this. It's called an event. We need an event handler name as well. So lightning bolt. Click your lightning bolt. We need to give it a name. Again, this is the name that you're going to use in code. Anime and tick. Good enough and done. Okay, so now in code, I'm gonna create my own custom method. Let me just kind of get organized here. Oh, it already put it in there. You see? It created it automatically. That's right. As soon as I created the name in the properties here. It's part of our timer. I just gave it a name, a generic name. Okay. That's being displayed. Inside here, I had to give it an event handler name, and it automatically created it inside my code behind, which is great. Okay, but do I want it in there in my methods region? Yes. But I need to also initialize the timer. So I'm going to create another method. I'm just recalling, this is part of my methods region. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm going to create my own custom method. Method is a function. Function is basically, usually it's an independent function or a thing. Methods are part of a class, but essentially a function is a method. The only difference is a method is part of a class, and we are essentially inside a class right now. Okay. Again, that's kind of coding lingo jargon. All right, private void. Void returns nothing, so it means it has no return. What essentially, so you have integers, you have floats, which are decimal values. You have doubles, also decimal values. Those would return a value or a number. Those are return types. It returns a value. Void doesn't really return anything, but you can write code in it, and it can display information. Okay. Or have it do some sort of function or have some sort of functionality. Okay, I'm going to call it initializer. Normally I would copy and paste all this, but I just want to type it out for you guys and gals. Okay, and there we go. This is the style with my code, what I do. I also haven't created a name for it yet, so I have to do that. There's a little bit of code we're going to do and to get this to work. Okay, there's a couple of things we need, and it's really cool. There's not a lot, but we're going to need it. Okay, and these are going to be private for the most part. Private, static read only. Again, I'm not going to explain all this extra information. That's something that you have to learn when you're learning coding language. Okay, let's access the system class. System dot for Windows tab dot forms tab. Now again, this is chaining, right? Dot separator, dot separator, dot separator. It's no different than like a path for your file explorer. Sorry about that, guys. But we need to, so we're doing this path system. That's what the dot separator does. It's for accessing. We're accessing. Okay, and you need a name or an object in order to be able to do that. We're doing it through the built-in already code behind that's part of the program. Okay, system Windows, we didn't have to do all this hard work. This is already all done for us. Dot timer, I want to access the timer. Okay, and I'm going to give the timer name. I'm just going to call it TA, something simple. So that would be our object name, and we have to new up. Okay, it's already all right there for me. We need to new up. So I'm just going to tab. Done. Okay, so we're going to use this. We need this right here, this object name. Okay, and so that we could write further code in our timer here. Okay, so check this out. Watch. TA dot. Now I have, that's the reason for object, guys. The bells and whistles are going off in your brain, isn't it? You know, like that sound. Isn't that a great sound? Oh, Ah, silly me. Let's do this one. That's exactly why they're created. Essentially, it's an object. Now, interval, we want to access. Again, it's all linked up through this, right? When you're newing up, that's all dynamic. Okay, it's equal to 1,000. Yes, it is. It matches what we did here as well. You can actually click these and swap between your basic general information or attributes of your timer, and then again, this is the event handler. Okay, we are going to use that shortly. And again, the interval is 1,000. Now, ta.tick. Again, we wouldn't be able to access this pull down list without it. Okay? It's key. Plus equals, this is part of the event handling. New event handler. And it's going to be this one, like a method. And it's going to how do I say this? It's been a minute since I kind of taught the coding, but it's parameter. It's a parameter. We're going to pass in a parameter, and the parameter that it's going to accept is this, our timer tick anime name. This is the link up right here. Okay, I'm passing it into the method, the built-in method. All right, now let's enable timer, and then ta.enabled equals true, and there you have it. That's it. But you can see now, guys and gals, you can see clearly here, hopefully you can see how certain characters and this is a method, right? It's a built-in code behind, without over explaining it, but it's a method that's kind of created for us when we're working with Winforms. Okay, fine devs just do that kind of for us, and we can actually put information in it. It's got event handlers, it's got an object E, and all those sort of things. Okay, it also is brighter. You can see that it's shining and glowing a little bit brighter than the other font here, right? This other method is not so bright. What that means is that we're not utilizing the method. It means it's unused. So you have to be able to put it somewhere to activate it. Okay? So we need to activate it and make it work. Let's make the magic happen. I call this making the magic happen. As soon as you run your form, this automatically gets run first. Okay? And there we go. Always finish your code with a semicolon, because again, it's a real language. So there you have it, guys and gals. As soon as I did that, now this is brighter. Okay, so now it's going to actually run. So let's build that. We're not quite finished. We're almost done though. Almost there. Okay, so what we need to do now, our initialized timer is going to be initialized when we run the program, but we don't have any code in here, right? We're telling it to run, but it's got nothing to do, right? So let's make it do something. So this is where our label comes in handy. Okay, so I'm going to click this one here. It's called properties. You have the events one you click. I'm on the right side here at the top. Hopefully you can see me here. And I'm clicking this one so I can access the properties. Okay, the reason I did that is because I need the name. This is what we're using as an object name, class name, object name, to be able to access, right? We need it for accessing, okay? So I'm going to just copy and paste the name. The dot separator is for accessing, guys and gals. Okay? There are other ways of doing it, but I'm not going to get into that. That's kind of the when you're learning coding, there you learn a different way of doing this. There's also like a pointer arrow type way of accessing, but that just depends on if you're I don't want to has to do with static and dynamic. Okay, anyways, and stack and heap. All right, let's again, that's all part of the coding, and you'll understand better if you know how to code. Okay, label underscore time dot text. We want to access the text. It's going to equal to, that's exactly what we want. We want date time dot now to string. And I can just tab. It doesn't close the method rounded brackets. I don't know why. Maybe because you could put in more parameters or information, but in this case we don't need any. So I'm going to close it and close it with a semicolon. Okay, so here's a trick. Now I have named this label time, okay, down below here. I don't want that to change, right? I want it to always stay there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to lead it. It's going to be leading text. Okay, leading text. Except I have to, in order to utilize leading text, I have to put it in quotations. I probably should have hit the quotations first, but that's okay. So I'm going to click paste. Now it's going to print whatever's in the quotations. So off the top of I know what this does. I can't think of the terminology off the top of the head. There's actually terminology associated with what we're doing here. Again, I've forgotten more than most people know. And it's not really that important as long as you understand what it's doing. Okay, that's the key thing. It's kind of like chaining, but we're not. We're adding to it. So it's going to print the time. Plus, it's after that, immediately after, it's going to print the date and time now to string. And don't forget, I add the space because remember, space, your space bar, when you press the space bar, that's actually part of the ASCII table. I know in our mind, and it's wild to think that it's just empty space, that it's nothing, but it actually has a value associated in the ASCII table. So it's a thing. All right, there we go. That was a bit, I know, but that's the code you need to create and the things you need to do to set up a timer. So check it out. So let's run it. Let's go! Turn it up, guys and gals. Turn it up. That is it for today. I'm going to do some more tomorrow. Again, like I said, I'm going to try my best to do two-hour videos per day for you guys and gals, especially those of you that are interested in learning. It's great to have you. You know it is. I appreciate you. Thank you all so much, whoever you are in chat here on Twitch. Appreciate you. YouTube viewers, followers, you know I appreciate you. Much love. I'm Johnny with, well, Bologna&Weiners coding. I almost didn't get that out. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Peace.